Beyond the famous iceberg, the Titanic was a floating city defined by extreme hidden realities. First up, powering those massive steam engines required brutal human labor. A crew of 176 firemen worked around the clock, shoveling 600 tons of coal by hand every single day. Next, the upper decks were engineered to make wealthy passengers forget they were at sea. First-class amenities included a 7-foot-deep saltwater swimming pool, a Victorian-style Turkish bath, and a full-size squash court hidden deep inside the hull. And then there's the cargo. Despite enduring myths, there was no sunken gold on board. The most valuable item was a neoclassical oil painting valued at $100,000. It sat alongside bizarre oddities, like dragon's blood resin and cases of ostrich feathers. But the most shocking reality? The Titanic actually carried more lifeboats than the law demanded. The British Board of Trade based their safety regulations on a ship's weight, not its passenger capacity. So 20 lifeboats was entirely legal, a catastrophic failure of outdated maritime laws. Ultimately, the Titanic was the symbol of its era's hubris, a ship where unparalleled luxury masked brutal labor and dangerously outdated rules.
The Titanic was heavily engineered to survive massive flooding, relying on a famous system of watertight bulkheads. But when an iceberg buckled the steel plates along its starboard bow, those exact safety features doomed the ship. The lower hull was split into 16 compartments, divided by heavy steel walls designed to block water from spreading. These were the bulkheads. The ship's design allowed the first 4 compartments to flood completely, and the vessel's buoyancy would still keep it safely afloat. But there was a fatal mechanical flaw. These dividing walls didn't reach the upper decks, leaving them completely open at the top. When the iceberg ruptured 5 compartments simultaneously, it broke that absolute limit. The excess weight pulled the bow downward, causing the water to reach the open gap and spill into the next untouched compartment. Like an overfilling ice cube tray, this domino effect pulled the ship steeper, making the closing watertight doors at the bottom completely useless. So that localized dent along the starboard bow from the iceberg started a cascading sequential spill that dragged the entire vessel straight to the bottom.
The Titanic is famous for exactly one thing: how it sank. But that tragedy overshadows the ship's actual engineering. Looking past the disaster reveals 3 design secrets that challenge everything you thought you knew. First up, the ship burned over 600 tons of coal every single day. All of it was shoveled by hand by a crew of 176 men. The effortless luxury above deck completely depended on this grueling labor below the waterline. The Titanic wasn't just a famous shipwreck. It was a floating paradox